Su from the root letter Sin, Waw, Hamza. And su is anything that could upset a person, anything that makes him sad, whether it causes some financial loss, some tangible loss or intangible loss, anything that upsets a person. And al-adhab, we have done this word earlier, ayn dhal ba. What does adhab mean? Punishment. What is a punishment? A punishment is a difficult task or difficult experience that is imposed on a person for a crime that he has committed. But adhab in the Arabic language is not just punishment. It also applies to torture. And what's the difference between torture and punishment? The torture is given to even an innocent person, even a person who has not committed a crime. So they imposed on you evil torture, the most horrible torture, meaning it was very, very painful for you to live in that way. And what was this evil torture they inflicted on you? Hard work, slave labor. And on top of that, besides that, what did they do? يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ. يُذَبِّحُونَ ذَال بَاحَ ذِبْح. Have you heard of the word ذَبِيحَ? What does it mean? The animal that has been slaughtered. So ذِبْح is to slaughter. And ذَبَّحَ يُذَبِّحُ تَذْبِيح is to slaughter. But how? Brutally. Because notice the word, there's a shiddah. So it shows that the slaughter was not ordinary. How was it? It was brutal. It was terrible. First of all, it gives a meaning of how terrible it was. And secondly, it also shows that the slaughter was at a large scale. So in other words, they massacred. They killed, they massacred at a large scale. يُذَبِّحُونَ. But who are they slaughtering? Who are they killing? Who are they massacring? Animals? No. أَبْنَاءَكُمْ. Your sons. Abna is a plural of ibn. We read the word bani earlier. Bani is also a plural and abna is also a plural. And what's a singular form? Ibn, for both of them. So they were killing, they were slaughtering your sons. They were killing them how? By cutting off their necks. Just as animals are slaughtered, this is how your boys were being slaughtered. Elsewhere in the Quran we learn يُقَتِّلُونَ, which shows that they killed them perhaps through some other means as well. Some they slaughtered and others they killed through some other means. يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ. And at the same time, وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ. And they were keeping alive your women. يَسْتَحْيُونَ. Ha, ya, ya. We have read the word يَسْتَحْيِي. Don't get confused between the two. That word yastahi is from the word haya'un. And what does haya' mean? Shyness. This word, although it appears to be the same, is from a different word. It has been derived from a different word. And what is that word? Hayat. What does hayat mean? Life. Hayat is life. So istihya is to try to keep someone alive. To spare them, to let them live. So yastahyuna, they were keeping alive who? Nisa'akum, your women. Why were they keeping the women alive? Because the women did not seem to be a threat to them. And besides, when the men are killed and the women remain, then what's going to happen? Are they going to be protected? Men participate in warfare. Men are the ones who protect their people. So when the men are gone, who's left? Women. And just imagine, the women are unprotected. What kind of evils can be committed with them? How vulnerable they are. Just think about it. And they kept the women alive. Why? In order to keep them as servants in their houses. They kept the women as servants where? In their houses to serve them. So they were like slave women and also servants. And this is a great humiliation for a people. That their race is being wiped out. Their nation is being annihilated. How? By the killing of the men and the keeping of the women. Because women cannot defend themselves. And even when women have children, whose children are they going to be? The Coptic, the Qibt, not the Israelite. In this way, they were annihilating the entire race, the entire nation, the entire qawm of the Bani Israel. Why was Fir'aun doing that? Why did he want to finish the Bani Israel? Because it has been said, Fir'aun had a dream in which he saw that an Israelite would destroy his kingdom, would overcome him, would defeat him. So in other words, he would lose his power and authority at the hands of who? An Israelite. So he decided, okay, finish their race. If I finish them, they cannot do anything to me. So this is the reason why he enslaved them. This is the reason why he inflicted great torture on them. And this is why he killed their sons and kept their women alive. He wanted to finish them because he felt their presence as a threat. Another reason is, like I told you earlier, that when the Bani Israel were there, they became corrupted. And when a religious people get corrupt, they are much worse than non-religious people getting corrupt. The Bani Israel, their scholars, what were they told? That وَتَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابِ, you know the book, you read the book, and yet you don't follow it. Yet you commit these crimes. Because a person who has knowledge and still he does not follow it, his crime is greater than the one who does not have knowledge. Then he becomes much, much worse than any other people. He goes farther astray. This is why when the Bani Israel became extremely corrupt, he wanted to get rid of them. He wanted to finish them. And another reason is given as to why Fir'aun was trying to finish them as a punishment. Why punishment? For their believing in Musa a.s. when he came. When Musa a.s. came as a messenger, the Bani Israel obviously believed in him. They demanded their freedom. But Fir'aun, we learn in Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 127, that وَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْ قَوْمِ فِرْعَوْنَ أَتَذَرُ مُوسَى وَقَوْمَهُ لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَيَذَرَكَ وَآلِهَتَكَ. The people of Fir'aun, they said to him, are you going to leave Musa just like that? While his people are spreading corruption, and on top of that, they don't even believe in you, nor do they believe in your gods. So, قَالَ Fir'aun said, سَنُقَتِّلُ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ وَنَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُمْ. That we're going to kill their sons and we're going to keep their women alive. So as a punishment, to show that he had absolute control over Bani Israel. Because he had power, he could do whatever he wanted to. The Bani Israel could not defend themselves. He abused that power. Just because he could kill them, he killed them. Just because he could oppress them, he oppressed them. And many times it happens that just because people have some authority, what do? They oppress other people. For example, there is a little child. Can he fight against you? If you slap him, can he slap you back? No. If you yell at him, you scare him, can he take revenge from you? So many times people, they abuse children just because they can. Just because the child cannot do anything in return. And this is exactly what Fir'aun did. He was proud of the position that he had, of the power that he had. Allah says, وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ, and in that, O you all. ذَلِكُمْ, what does ذَلِكَ refer to? ذَلِكَ refers to the torture that they suffered at the hands of Fir'aun. What was the torture? يَسُومُونَكُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ. In that, O you all, was what? بَلَاءٌ, a trial, a test. It was a great test. From who? مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, from your Lord. عَظِيمٌ, very great. عَظِيمٌ over here is a description of bala'un, meaning it was a great, great trial for you all. What was a great trial? The torture, the oppression of Fir'aun. The word bala is from the root letters ba, lam, waw. And bala is used for a test, a trial that is very, very severe, meaning it's very difficult. It's very intense. And secondly, the word bala is also used for a trial that could be through difficulty and it could also be through ease. It could be through something evil and it could also be something good. Have you ever heard money is a test? Money is a big test. But isn't money good? Don't you like it? Don't you benefit from it? Yes? So, bala is a test through something evil as well as something good. Through difficulty as well as through ease. So what does it mean by bala then? How was this torture a great test? Understood, the torture was evil, so it was a very difficult test. But the good meaning, where does that come in? How do we understand that? Some scholars have said that وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ, ذَلِك does not only refer to the torture, the oppression of Fir'aun, but secondly it refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saving the Bani Israel. That in their saving, in their najat, when Allah saved them, that was a great test. How can your rescue and your saving be a great test? How? That are you grateful or are you ungrateful? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them from Fir'aun, that was a great test. Because the Bani Israel were being tested now. What do you do? Are you grateful to Allah? Or do you forget the favor that Allah has bestowed upon you? وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ بَلَاءٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ عَظِيمٌ. What do we learn from this verse? That we are being tested all the time. When a difficulty comes in and when a difficulty goes out. When we're suffering from a difficulty and when the difficulty has passed us. At the time of difficulty, what's the test? Do we remain steadfast? Do we remain hopeful? Do we have trust on Allah? Do we seek His help or not? And when the difficulty has gone, when the difficulty has been taken away, what's the test? Are we grateful? Are we thankful? Do we thank Allah for His saving us, for His protecting us, or do we forget His favors? A very important lesson that we learn from this verse is that being saved from the torture and persecution of an enemy, is that a favor of Allah? Is that a ni'mah of Allah? It's a huge, huge blessing. That Allah has saved a person from the torture that he was suffering, from the oppression of other people on him. It's quite possible that the oppression that a person faces today is not at the same level as that of Bani Israel, which they suffered at the hands of Fir'aun. Any other oppression that a person faces at the hands of others. Other people not giving rights to him. Other people being rude and harsh to him. For example, it's quite possible that you go to a school and you have that very mean counselor or very harsh teacher. That the moment you see that counselor, the moment you see them, you start getting nervous. It's quite possible you have faced that bias, that hostility. That you go to work somewhere and every time you walk in, you know that they treat you differently because of your hijab. If Allah saves you from them, if Allah protects you from them, takes you away from that situation, that's a huge blessing. For many of us, before we came to this country, perhaps we were in a country, in a place where our lives were in danger. If we remained there, we wouldn't know we were going to see the next morning or not. We perhaps feared the safety of our lives, the safety of our children, the safety of our wealth. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His favor, took us out from there and brought us to a place that is safe, where we are secure. So being saved is what? A huge blessing of Allah. And we must never, ever forget that. We must never forget that. We must remember our past and be grateful for our present. Because it happens to us that as soon as our situation becomes better, it's as though nothing happened yesterday. It's as though we forget the favor of Allah and we become very arrogant and we become boastful, as if it wasn't Allah's favor on us, but our own achievement.
وَإِذْ نَجَّيْنَاكُمْ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَسُومُونَكُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ بَلَاءٌ مِّن رَّبِّكُمْ عَظِيمٌ.